Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. So let me ask you a question. What's the secret to not just living a long life, but actually loving every minute of it? It's something we all think about, right? Well, today, we're unlocking the lessons from a true Hollywood legend who is celebrating a milestone that is just unbelievable. A man who has found a way to not just age, but to thrive for an entire century.
100. Just let that number sink in for a second. A full century. I mean, think about it. When Dick Van Dyke was born, most people didn't have TVs, we didn't have antibiotics, and the internet was pure science fiction. He's seen the world change in ways we can barely imagine. But for him, turning 100 isn't just a number, it's his reality. And the most incredible part? He's still going strong.
So how'd he do it? How do you get to 100 not just surviving, but actually thriving with that famous smile still on your face? You know, it's not just about winning some genetic lottery or getting lucky. It's about a philosophy, a set of choices, and a seriously powerful mindset. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into today. By looking at his amazing journey, we can find some clues for our own.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll celebrate the man himself. Then we'll hit rewind and look at his unforgettable career to really get why he's such a big deal. After that, we'll get into a surprising love story that kind of broke all the rules. And finally, we'll get to the heart of it, his secrets to a long and happy life. And by the end, we'll have some really powerful takeaways. Ready? Let's jump in.
Okay, first up, the man of the hour. Now, if you're a younger viewer, you might know him from movies like Night at the Museum, where he played these, kind of grumpy old guys. But here's the crazy part. In real life, he's the total opposite. He's known for being one of the most cheerful, genuinely happy people in all of Hollywood. And that contrast is our first big clue.
So for anyone who might not know the whole story, he was born way back in 1925 in Missouri. He served in the Army Air Forces during World War II, and after that, he kicked off a career that would make him a household name for, well, pretty much forever. We're talking more than 7 decades of being at the top of his game. He didn't just have a moment of fame, he built a legacy that's lasted.
And get this just blows my mind. At 100 years old, he says he doesn't have any aches or pains. But listen to the words he uses. I'm so lucky. That perspective of gratitude, of focusing on the good instead of the bad, is a theme you're going to see over and over again. It's a huge hint that it's not just about how long you live, but how you feel about the life you're living.
So that positive spirit, it fueled an absolutely legendary career. We can't really understand the man without looking at the work that made him not just famous, but a true icon. I mean, his work is as beloved today as it was 60 years ago.
Okay, just look at this timeline for a minute. The sheer range here is wild. He starts as a radio DJ, then conquers Broadway. Then, bam, he redefines TV comedy with The Dick Van Dyke Show. Then he gives us the one and only Bert and Mary Poppins. But he didn't just stop. He found a whole new audience with Diagnosis Murder. And just last year, at 98 years old, he became the oldest person ever to win a Daytime Emmy. He didn't just stay in the game, he kept changing it.
So all of this success really comes down to this. He's what Hollywood calls a triple threat, and that's a super rare title. It means you're a master of acting, singing, and dancing. He could make you laugh, belt out a song, and then do a crazy dance number, sometimes all in the same scene. He had all the tools and used every single one of them to create these timeless characters. But you know, his career is really only half the story. To truly understand his whole philosophy on happiness, we've got to look at his personal life. And that includes a beautiful and, pretty surprising love story that has its own lessons about what really matters.
So in 2012, he married a makeup artist named Arlene Silver. They'd met a few years earlier, back in 2006 at the SAG Awards. He was immediately charmed by her, and they just hit it off and became friends. A few years later, after his longtime partner sadly passed away, Arlene was there for him as a friend. And over time, that friendship just blossomed into something more.
And this is the part that really got people talking. When they got married, he was 86 and she was 40. Yep, you're reading that right. A 46-year age difference. Today, he's 100 and she's 54. On paper, it's unconventional for sure. A lot of people were skeptical, but their story really makes you question what we think makes a relationship work. I absolutely love this quote from his wife, Arlene. She's like, "It's like eerie how well it works." She knows it might seem odd from the outside, but their reality is that they just click. It's such a powerful reminder that a real connection is about so much more than a number on a driver's license. And of course, Dick has the perfect, charming way of looking at it. He jokes that he's so immature, and she's so mature, that they just meet in the middle. It really just shows how they approach life. with joy and humor, focusing on what they have together instead of what anyone else thinks. And that right there is another huge lesson. Live your life for you.
So this brings us to the big question, right? The core of this whole explainer. How has he done it? What are the actual secrets to his incredible long life and happiness? Well, he's been super open about it, and his philosophy is surprisingly simple and something we can all learn from.
Okay, his philosophy really boils down to 4 simple but super powerful rules. First, self-awareness. He knew he had an addictive personality, so decades ago he made the tough call to quit smoking and drinking. That's huge. Second, keep moving. He never stopped, and he still tries to get to the gym 3 times a week. You know that saying, use it or lose it? He lives by it. Third, the mental game. He actively works to avoid anger and hate. And that's not just some feel-good advice. Cutting down on anger actually lowers your stress hormones, which is great for your body. And finally, purpose. He found something he absolutely loved to do, and he just never stopped doing it. That passion has been his fuel.
And if you need any more proof of his incredible spirit, here it is. He says that even at 100, it's not enough. He plans to live more. That is not someone who is just putting up with life. That is someone who is passionately in love with living. And maybe that's the biggest secret of all, always being curious about what's next.
All right, let's bring it all home. What's the big picture here? What are the key takeaways from Dick Van Dyke's century on this planet? What's the wisdom we can actually apply to our own lives, whether we're 20, 40, or 60?
So what's the big lesson? I think it's that our choices really matter. His story shows us it's never too late to make a healthy change, that real love can find you when you least expect it, and that a positive outlook isn't just nice, it's a powerful tool. But if you boil it all down to one single idea, his personal mantra, it's this: just keep moving. And that means moving your body, yeah, but also moving your mind by learning new things, and moving your heart by connecting with people. The key is to never stay still.
And that leads me to my final question for you. It doesn't have to be some huge, life-changing thing. Maybe it's just going for a 10-minute walk. Maybe it's shooting a text to a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Or maybe it's spending 5 minutes doing a hobby you love. What's one small thing you can do today to keep moving toward a life with a little more joy? We talked about Dick Van Dyke's philosophy, but now I'd love to hear yours. What do you think is the single most important secret for a long and happy life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to see what you all think.
And that's a wrap on our explainer on the incredible 100-year life of Dick Van Dyke. If you feel a little more inspired to keep moving today, do me a favor and hit that like button and share this with someone who might need it. And of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more stories just like this one. Thanks so much for watching.